Did you ever end up asking yourself, hey, am I actually doing this right? Well, I did came up with exactly that question when it came to these event sites, because anyone who ran them always told me just how much money they were making in Lowsec. So I wanted to put this case to rest and just find the answer and find out once and for all, where do those sites actually give the most money? It is a curious question, and is it even worth to run them in that area of space? It is a question I kinda wanted to just know it, because no one really seems to have an answer to that. So I just asked people, random myself, and just compiled what I have to find out how those sites actually compare in every area of space to give you the answer you deserve, which is where are they actually the best and where should you run them. I don't really want to decide for you, but I want to give you the info, so let's get right into it and let's find it out together. But playing EVE alone sucks. So if you want to take part in an awesome community, fly fun ships, make something ISK, and have genuinely a good time with constantly people around you to hang out with. So come and join Suspect today and fight under the banner of our great supreme leader, me. So come and join our Discord today. Anyway, on with the video. Hey guys, it's me, I41. I went out and actually tried running those event sites in Lowsec, and it was pretty easy. The Lowsec sites are easy and they're supposed to be easy. But I wanted more, and everyone keeps telling me just how great those sites are when you go to Lowsec. And I wanted to know that for myself. So what is the logical conclusion if you hear something and don't know if it's true and no one else is actually confirming it with you? Well, there's only one option you can do, so I packed up my Praxis and went over to Lowsec to, well, go run those sites. Because let's face it, what is the worst that can happen? I already made my money back from the Praxis and Lowsec, so if I lose it, who cares? Well, obviously dying is bad, but it is worth the experience. And spoilers here, I actually didn't die, even if I got really close to it when it comes to, you know, what they say, running it with 70 extra tornadoes in your system is just called fun. But you didn't come here to just hear what my experience was. I could make a video on that, but I think you're more interested in what can you do when it comes to those sites. So let's get down to business and compare those three regions when it comes to income, and we are going to start off with the worst one of those three, and that is Highsec. Highsec sites are maybe the easiest sites for this event when it comes to actually running them. From scanning to combat sites to the mining sites, they are the easiest. And being the easiest, they also pay the least. That is kinda a downside. And when I saw the income from the Highsec winter event sites, I was like, well, this is very depressing. I don't like that, to say the least. For example, in this screenshot, it doesn't look that bad. This is about 3 hours of exploration in Highsec. You would think, hey, that's not bad at all. That's, you know, money. But just take away the ultra rare drop and you end up in a different world. It is about 150 million in 3 hours, and 3 hours is a good amount of time. And 150 million, this amount of time in an event that is temporary and is supposed to make you more money. Well, at that point you could also just go Highsec mining, I guess. Which for new players it is actually okay, but even then a new player can make far more by just joining a Nullsec or a Lowsec group and just going out exploring in Lowsec or Nullsec and making a few 100 million an hour or two. That is like also an option you could do. And maybe that is actually the better option of the two. But Highsec is kinda bad, not just for that reason. If it was just the income, it would be fine, it was safe and you could just farm them, hey, that's not bad, but, you know, it's also heavily crowded. But it is easy, which is the big benefit, but you will end up making out 60 to 100 million per hour. That may not sound that bad, but the biggest issue is actually not the size themselves. The biggest issue isn't even gankers. The real issue is that you're competing with about 1 billion people who want to run the same sites, because Highsec is overcrowded, it's kinda bad. So that is the biggest negative when it comes to Highsec. But you can expect somewhat like 60 to 100 million per hour if you run the combat sites, best case. And exploration sites will obviously make less, but they should also make about 50 million per hour if you can actually run them and you don't get outcompeted by other people. So just always remember, while Highsec is safe, it will be very overcrowded. But let's leave Highsec behind and let's discuss the next area that we need to discuss. And we're going to skip Lowsec, we're discussing Nullsec. You might be wondering right now, why is he skipping Lowsec? Well, you know, I kinda want to keep that surprise till the end, so we're not gonna mention that. We're going to discuss Lowsec last, and we're going to discuss first Nullsec, because that is the one that I actually ran first. And I ran Nullsec the whole last year. Those were the only sites I was actually running, Nullsec. And Nullsec has the benefit it is less crowded, at least a bit, because less people live in an individual Nullsec alliance than the overcrowded place that Highsec is. However, the sites are harder, but with the fit from my video I made recently, you will not struggle at all with that. And you find the suggested video in the top right now. But obviously no one cares about how hard it is. I mean, you can always just get a bigger ship, get a better ship. We care about how much dinkle-diddle-doos we can make with this, and we want to make many dinkle-diddle-doos, and let me not disappoint you, with even just a Praxis, which is really slow at running those sites compared to a Marauder, at least in Lowsec you still end up at 200 to 300 million per hour average, and sometimes you get lucky. But I don't want to overdo it, because from what I was told, this event actually this year is paying a lot less than last year, but that is that. And we can't change that it pays less this year. Maybe it's just feeling, maybe it's just emotions, who knows. But 200 to 300 million is still a pretty fine number, especially in something like a Praxis and a low-skill activity like this, at least compared to other activities like crab beacons, R64 mining, or just exploring. Making that much money in a Praxis is nice, but if you had a super carry, obviously you could make more, but not everyone has 2 super carries in their garage. It's just not what people have. And you might have by this point noticed, hey, Highsec makes about half as much as Nullsec, so is Lowsec gonna make twice as much as Nullsec? Well, yes, you're very right, and that is why I actually made this video, because, you see, I went out to Lowsec to find out, is it really as good as people say? I don't like to believe people when they talk about Lowsec making this much money, because I sometimes got disappointed already beforehand. And is it really worth it having 50 tornadoes hunting you around to murder you? Well, the answer is, it kind of depends. It kind of is. I mean, just money-wise, you would say, yes, dinkle-diddle-doos are coming in a big amount. And those dinkle-diddle-doos can be very convincing. So, you may have noticed it the whole time you've been watching me running Lowsec sites. So, there you go, there's your answer. And the average drop from it is, let's just say, not bad. They are not bad at all. They are harder, significantly harder. And I use a different fitting from a Praxis to run them than the one in the video. As the one from the video slightly struggles, I don't just want to say slightly. But considering it is the cheapest fitting imaginable, it was kinda expected, considering Lowsec sites are the hardest sites. However, even this one that I'm running right now, it's not a lot more expensive. And I also linked it in the video description if you wanna use it yourself. But the good part is, with an average drop of 150 million per site, sometimes getting up to 600 million per site, it is not bad, really not bad at all. I personally average anywhere between 500 million to 1.2 billion per hour with this, because 1.2 billion was because one lucky drop. And you might be saying, hey, one lucky drop, that kinda doesn't count, so that is that. But the answer to this is, this income is really good for one simple reason. Every site drops 1 to 2 implant blueprints guaranteed, which is a massive drop if you get any high-grade implants, and that is not rare at all, because, well, you always get 1 to 2 guaranteed, so that's a thing. I mean, if it's guaranteed, they can't not drop. So that is what happened to me, multiple times actually, and that is the big benefit here. The income is simply massive, insanely massive. But obviously, everything, especially this kind of income, comes with drawbacks, as mentioned before. You have more hunters, it is harder, but you also find more sites because it is harder to actually set up on Lowsec for most people. Nullsec is safe because people own that space, but Lowsec, well, you need to actually go out of your way and actually do that. But all in all, the fact is, Lowsec actually, yes, it pays that much, but is it worth the extra hassle? I enjoyed it, but I also have an obnoxious amount of time in this game, and I think I should be able to do that. But if you're newer, you might be better off just running Nullsec sites and just running them with friends, maybe just talking to people on Discord, just having fun. And not actually worrying about 50 tornadoes trying to murder you, because when I took out people there, they kinda just immediately died. So, make your choice here. I just listed incomes for all 3 regions right here on the screen, and, well, make your own choice. My personal suggestion is, just run the sites in Nullsec or Lowsec, but don't run them in Highsec. Highsec is pointless, in my opinion. So, just take some friends, do it in Lowsec, do it in Nullsec, or just go day tripping with your friends if you don't actually have one Nullsec or Lowsec core. It's really not that dangerous. However, the event is still going for 2 more weeks, so I hope you will have a lot of success here and are able to make some dinkle-diddle-doos, so good luck to you there. And go tell me, where do you actually run those event sites? Do you run them at all? Which sites do you prefer? I'm genuinely curious here. But this is kinda all from me in this video, so I hope to see you next time, and a big shout out to all of you who keep supporting me on Patreon. I'm actually gonna make a video regarding that pretty soon, because I owe some big thanks there. Anyway, see you next time.